Yes, as a singer, a songwriter, an educator, and an icon. That is why everyone in this studio is standing and clapping. She's made it clear that there's just nobody quite like Buffy Sainte-Marie.
Her fascinating life is the focus of a new documentary premiering at TIFF called Buffy Sainte-Marie, Carry It On. And we are, of course, thrilled to have Buffy and the film's director, Madison Thomas, here in studio with us today. Welcome. So great to have you.
Thanks, Cynthia.
So, Buffy, welcome back. It's so great to see you again. You look incredible, as always, and you've been in this industry for 60 years.
Far too long.
Oh, my God. There are definitely not a lot of people who have lived a life as rich and as vibrant as you have, and we see this in the documentary. And I know this is a hard question to answer, but, like, is there a moment in your life that sort of, or something that stands out to you most about your life?
You know, it's more of an arc that started when I was little and continues to this day, and it really has to do with kind of keeping your nose on the joy trail. And when you run into somebody who's ignorant and says something stupid to you, you don't get mad, because that's your opportunity. That's an opportunity to give them something. And Madison, in the movie that she made about my life, it starts with, some will tell you what you really want ain't on the menu. Don't believe them, cook it up yourself, and then prepare to serve them.
Yeah.
So that's what you can do.
That was a great quote to start the movie with.
What a great segue to you, Madison, though, because the world has gotten to know Buffy in so many different ways over the years. So what were you most eager as a storyteller to share with people about this person you're making a film about?
Totally. I think the thing I was most excited about to share was really the things that we didn't know about Buffy per se, or the ability to dig deeper into some of the aspects of the story. You know, 60-year career, she's been in the media eye for a long time. So I was really just interested in getting to know her as a person and sharing those aspects a little bit more.
Buffy, you came onto the scene at the same time as artists, you know, like Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell. Of course, Joni is in the movie as well. In the 60s, I think so many people romanticize that time of life and in the music. So what must it have been like for you? What do you think that it was missing? I'm going to just relook at this. What do you think we are missing from the outside looking in when we think about that period of time in life?
Gosh, you know, like for audiences, I think it's almost like it was for some of us artists who were not being handled by the big managers, you know, the Alberts and the Clives and the Davids and the Walters, and because we were all kind of outside of that. There were a few artists that you were hearing about who were at all the civil rights photo ops, and the rest of us weren't even invited. Yeah. So being Indigenous too, and being not from the city, but from, you know, rural, urban kind of life, you kind of get left out of that. And I think that there were a lot of great writers around, people like Hoyt Axton and Phil Oakes and Tom, there were a lot of people who were just almost overlooked and deliberately overshadowed by businessmen. And it really ticks me off as an audience member when I feel as though business is holding back what I would love to know. You know, but sometimes monopolies happen. And I wish they didn't, but they do. So now we have social media, and sometimes artists have a little better control and ability to distribute what they're trying to share.
But, you know, and that may be true for now, but, you know, when you were coming up, it's a tough business, the music business, and you learn some tough lessons. I mean,
oh boy.
That's an understatement. Even though so many other artists were fans of yours, as we all are, Barbra Streisand, Nancy Sinatra, Cher, they've all covered your songs. There is a story though, because when Elvis Presley's team asked you for the publishing rights to your song, Until It's Time for You to Go, you said no. What made you say no to Elvis Presley?
Well, in the first place, it wasn't Elvis Presley asking me to say yes. No, I'm serious. And I was a huge Elvis fan as a teenager. But as I understand, Until It's Time for You to Go was Elvis and his wife Priscilla's love song.
Yes.
And so it was business guys just doing what they do all the time, just trying to get a piece of something. And Elvis had not written the song. If he had, it would have been different. But no, he had nothing to do with writing the song. The song had already been recorded many, 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 many times. Also, I'm the one who gave away the rights to Universal Soldier for $1. So I learned my lesson. 10 years later, I bought it back for $25,000. Part of the publishing I bought back.
Right.
But, so I had learned that lesson. So it was very easy to say no to Elvis's business guys. But you know what? They said, if you don't make this deal, he won't record the song. And I said, oh, too bad. He recorded it 9 times, put it in 2 movies and in his live show. So artist to artist.
So, Buffy, you were one of the first people to use the word genocide when talking about the treatment of Indigenous people in North America. Madison, I'm curious, what impact do you think that Buffy has had as an advocate, as an educator, specifically when it comes to the lived realities of Indigenous people, across North America?
I think we really can't short-sight the fact that that was a big part of why Buffy was blacklisted, was the fact that she shared this type of language, this type of stories, the realities that our communities were going through. But I think one thing that I discovered about Buffy as an educator throughout the making of the documentary is it's all about balance with you. So even in your song lists, when it comes to the concerts, even if there's a heavy-hitting song, it's immediately followed by something with joy, or something that brings people back up. So I think one of the things I really loved learning more about Buffy's work as an educator was that other side of the balance, the impacts that Indigenous people have had on science, art, culture. That was kind of what really interested me, that balance between the two, because that is who Indigenous people are. We have dealt with incredible atrocities against our people, but we're also some of the most resilient and, quite frankly, funny and smart people I've ever known.
Buffy, you've recently been selected as the latest honoree of the TIFF Tribute Awards for Leadership and Social Impact. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
People really do love to talk about your legacy, and that word it's a big word. Do you think about your legacy? And if so, what do you think that is?
No, not really. I just keep on moving forward. I think everybody's ripening. All of us are just ripening day by day. It's very hard to ripen faster. It's like we're a bunch of apples. Some of us are green, some of us are red, and some of us are kind of, at the end of that. But it's all good. I don't think about legacy so much as if I did have one wish. If I could live another 100 years. I'd spend more time in Toronto, and I'd go back to college, but I would really love to see the Cradleboard Teaching Project happen here in Canada, because all of our funding was U.S. funding, and we had to serve U.S. children first, although we had a whole lot of content from Canada. So I would love to see that happen. I think probably it's an overarching thing based in the fact that I had airplane tickets and other Indigenous people did not. Also, as an artist, as a person in show business, I had access to Indigenous reserves, and I'd be doing a concert in Stockholm, but I'd be 30 degrees north of the Arctic Circle with the Samis, the Indigenous people in Scandinavia. So all over the world there are Indigenous people, and there's great stages and television and everything, and I had the opportunity to combine them. But it took a lot of people to do that. I was spending a lot of time with grassroots people who were educating me all the time, and it was impossible not to see the challenges or the beauty.
Well, it's impossible for us not to see the beauty in you and the wisdom in you. Thank you so much, both of you, Buffy and Madison, for joining us here today. It has been such an honor to speak with you.
Hey there, wasn't that great? Do you know where you can find some equally good content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with discussions, debates, and some laughs. Head there now, like and subscribe.